Hi folks, welcome to the Breaky. My name's Henry, and today we're going to be working on the FujiNet Rev000. And this is the version that's going to be very, very close to what we have for final production ready hardware. This is cool. This is really, really cool. I got a chance to play with this over at VCF East. We're going to be bringing it to Coco Fest. If you are watching this on release day, come to Coco Fest. We've got like 4 people who are going to be playing around with this right there at Coco Fest. It's not to be missed. And it's Coco Fest, so it's still not to be missed. But hey, so we've got the hardware, like I said, just about in a state of being done, ready to go. And last time I visited this, I built the double-aught hardware. Note to editor, please make sure to put the double-aught hardware kind of scrolling through because there's a big difference. So yes, we did the double-aught. Now the problem I had, the double-aught, it turned out fine. I mean, it looks fine. Everything's fine. This is all fine. Everything flashed fine. I had 2 problems with it. Problem number 1 was I kept getting brownouts. I came to find out that the reason behind the brownouts was exactly what one of the commenters said in the last video, which is the USB hub I'm using is absolute trash. So as soon as I plugged it into the PC with a good cable and without a hub in the way, everything was fine as far as the brownouts were concerned. And it was flashing fine. I could see what was on the thing fine, but it just wouldn't run the config. So later, I came to find out what the actual problem was, why it wasn't running. It wasn't, believe it or not, it wasn't anything that I explicitly did. It was something that I didn't quite do. So the version of HDB-DOS, that turned out to be the key. There was a difference between the version that I was loading, that I already had handy, and the version that was included with the firmware for the FujiNet. That version was 2 minor versions higher, 1.5 versus 1.3. Once I actually loaded HDB-DOS, the correct one, and started it running, this happened. All right, so here's my starting point, and I have already loaded HDB-WCC2 using DriveWire on my PC. So now I'm swapping out the cables. So now I'm plugging in the FujiNet device, and that came up with a couple of things, a couple of op-nops there. And if I do a directory, everything seems to be fine now. Oh, I didn't execute it. It helps if I actually like run HDB-DOS, don't you think? All right. So with HDB, oh, that was unexpected. I didn't expect it to do that, obviously. Never mind. It just started working. Thanks for your help, guys. I'll do an update video on this later. Really appreciate it. Bye. Okay, so hopefully I sat there long enough for it. Yes, that's right. It ran, and it ran fine, and it ran off the version, version double-aught. And the only difference being that instead of pulling it off cassette off of here, I grabbed what was on the firmware and deloaded that off of the PC. All right, wonderful. Now that I know that, I know that version triple-aught should work just fine. And the nice thing about version triple-aught is that version triple-aught is a cartridge. So come with me as we put together a cartridge complete with firmware and EPROM right here today on the Breaky. All right, so I got it up, and whenever I get one of these ordered, I don't like doing surface mount soldering, so I go ahead and make sure to get anything surface mount placed already for me. Both of the majors, JLC PCB and PCBWay, will do this for you. So I don't know of any others. Those are the only ones that I ever see on YouTube, and I just know that they do that for you. At any rate, so getting down to a little bit of business here. Soldering iron is warming up, and as usual, we want to start with the low profile components, which means I've got a couple of 10K resistors. I've got a couple of 1K resistors lying there. And I have a bill of materials that is interactive. So, okay, so we're going to do R1 and R2, R3 and R4, and those are the 10Ks and the 1Ks. All right, so R1 and R2 are there, R3 and R4 are there. Easy peasy. So let's do this real quick before I move on. I'm going to break a jumper. So this right here is actually, you can't really tell in the camera the way it is, but it is actually shorted. This needs to be open. And the reason this needs to be open is because this is what actually creates this is what actually does the automatic cartridge start. Now, here's where the fun part begins. Hang on just a second. All right, so here's where the problem is. What's been done on the FujiNet, what's been done on the board as it stands, is just what we normally do with any type of cartridge that's going to be that's going to be a ROM based. I'm going to run a program pack. It's going to short cart the low cart to the quadrature signal. This is great if you've got a ROM pack or a program pack that's going to run a game that's Coco 1 or Coco 2 based. Coco 3 needs to not boot that way if you're going to use any of the advanced basic stuff that the Coco 3 has. And also in Coco 2 and some other areas, in order to get everything loaded the way it needs to be loaded, this actually needs to not be happening. This was discovered, maybe about what, less than a week ago, something like that. And once that was broken, everything was fine. So I'd say that looks fairly broken. Okay, good. That's done. Now, let's see. All right. That looks good. Okay, and now for my last trick. Not for my last trick. Let's do a quick verification and make sure that I am where I think I am. All right, capacitor 2, that has been installed. Let's see. The ESP32 dev kit, that is installed. And well, I mean, the socket's installed. And so now I need a 28 pin socket. And this is where the fun part comes in, because when I got my kit, it said it had the 28 pin, but they're the wrong width. 40 pin's the right width, but the 28 pin is obviously just the wrong width. So I'm going to fix that by pretty much the application of sharp shearing things. All right, so there's a couple more things that I need to do here. I need to put on some bodge wires. So what we want to do is automatically set the baud rate based upon the image that we're going to use. If you look in the firmware, you'll find that there are 4 images that are on the ROM, and those are for the Color Computer 1, Color Computer 2, Color Computer 3, and for the Diagnostics v2.0. So with that, there needs to be a way to go ahead and communicate that to the ESP32, because the ESP32 is the one that actually sets the baud rate. That wiring was not done on this revision of the board. In the production version of the board, it should be there. That looks terrifically bodge-tastic, I do believe. Got that on there, and if I... And... Let's see... It's like that on there, which is great. Yep, I would say that looks pretty good. All right. Pull this off. All right. Time for a little bit of isopropyl and get the EPROM programmed. All right. All right, so now with this being built up, we have a couple more things we need to do. We need to flash the ESP32 device, and we need to burn the EPROM. So surprisingly enough, This is going to be a little bit simpler than flashing the EPROM, but that's mainly because of the prep work that needs to be done. They're both effectively the same level of simplicity. All right, ESP32. It doesn't really matter whether it's in or out of the board, so I'm just going to pop it into the board just to have it convenient, and then go ahead and plug the USB cord into it. And this is plugged in, not into an El Cheapo hub, but it is plugged directly into the PC. Your mileage may vary. If you've got a good hub, it should be. I mean, it should be fine. It's just a question of, does it have enough power, and that kind of thing. All right, so So FujiNet Flasher doesn't have Cocoa on it yet, so you'll need to either build your own in FujiNet firmware, which is surprisingly not difficult to do, but does require a few dependencies to be put in there. If you're not comfortable with building building your own firmware, you can always go ahead and get a pre-built piece of firmware. And if I recall correctly, those are available on one of the multiple FujiNet websites, possibly even, I believe, for download from the GitHub repository. But I'll have to look at it to see what's going on. Note to editor, take a look at that and put up the information. All right. So let's go ahead and bring that over. It's already open in here. I already have that. That is the safe reset, which is, this one right here. Okay, so if I hit the safe reset, he says, heading back over to the thing, I should see, and it resets. All right, beautiful. Yep, okay, so the safe reset works. There's no other information going on as far as that goes. I'm not seeing any other lights. I might have them in backwards. I don't know. I'm not worried about that. This part works. That's all I'm concerned about right now. Lovely. Okay, so with that, I can go ahead and move this out of the way. It will disconnect this. And now, for my next toy, the EPROM programmer. And as you can see, it wants to have the IC with its pin 1, or the EPROM with its pin 1 going over on this side. This is just a simple XGECU 48. What is that? Yeah, XGECU T48 multiple ROM programmer. I haven't bothered with any of the other gizmos that came with it. I just wanted something that's going to be able to handle a standard EPROM. And I am using the UV erase type. UV erasers are relatively cheap. I mean, they're only like, you can get them for like $30. And yeah, no big deal with that. I was actually quite surprised. Comparatively speaking, like when I was a kid, I remember hearing like programmers were hundreds of dollars, and this is in 1980s dollars. I'm hearing that the programming stuff we need is like hundreds of dollars. This right now, between this and the eraser, maybe in like 60, $70, and that's in 2024 dollars. All right, close that. Now, I run Linux, and I had to do a little hunting to find the things that I needed, and I found it in a little utility called MiniPro. All right, so we've got that, and so what we need for the ROM is actually in FujiNet hardware. And let's see, we've got Cocoa right over here. And we've got the FujiNet Rev000 old, README, and ROM. I've got a sneaking suspicion that what we're going to need is in ROM. Now we need to run MiniPro. Verification, okay. We are good. Okay. And just to be on the safe side, we'll go ahead and okay. So with that done, there we go. That should do it. Now, next trick. There we go. All right. That should do it. Now what happens? Start her up. Ooh. Nice. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. That is good. All right, so I need to... I did not plug in the USB cable. I just plugged it into the Coco. So this is powered. This is powered by the Coco. All right. Okay, please wait. And nice, 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 nice. Absolutely fabulous. Now, I don't have an SD card in here, so I'm not going to be mounting the SD card, but it should be as simple as, typing in let's go ahead and edit the slot. It should be as simple as typing in a lowercase SD. And this does, if you've got true lowercase, if it's running with true lowercase, you should be able to see true lowercase. But yeah, that's doing the shift 0. No. Oh, no, it doesn't respond to shift 0. Okay, but that is different from that. Okay. And the SD should mount it. At least that's what Thomas was saying, and I haven't actually plugged in an SD card to be sure. But I do know that should be available, and I should be able to browse that, and there we go. Oh, there we go. All right. So it's there. All right. The editor, you can figure it out. Okay. All right. So there we go. And let's see. We got the Coco. Okay. So if I hit break, it should take me there. There we go. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, it wasn't happy. Okay. Reset. Oh, nice. That works. That makes me happy. Okay, nice, wonderful, marvelous. I'm happy with this. I'm very, very happy with this. And I don't know where Thomas has CPM sitting, but I'm really looking forward to playing around with CPM on this thing. It should be kind of fun. Yeah, maybe I can get it. Ooh, I need to get it talking to my K-Pro. All right, I'm happy. And I'm happy because this is working, and it's working right before I'm going to Coco Fest, and I'm going to have it working at Coco Fest, and I'll have it working on my table at Coco Fest. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be, and there's other people who are going to have it working on their tables at Coco Fest. It's going to be a fun time. Am I talking a lot about Coco Fest? Yes. A, it's my first. B, I'm excited about it because I haven't done something like a Coke, the last Cocoa Club meeting I went to was with my dad when I was like, oh, I don't know, like 9 maybe. So it's been a minute. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more. I'm looking forward to playing more with the FujiNet. It should be fun. I think this has the this isn't just for Coco. They run it on Apple. They run it on Atari. They've got it going for the Coleco Atom. They've got it going for the flippin' Atari 2600. Okay, one of the least powered game system of all times that can possibly do computing runs this thing and runs it well. So you can play 5 card stud on a whole bunch of different systems, and you can play across platforms real time with multiple players, and that's cool. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that when those of us who grew up with the 8-bit stuff had them as when we were kids and had these things like when they were new, this is the kind of stuff that we'd be like over the moon about. And if you can't tell, I'm kind of over the moon about it myself right now. It's going to be fun. At any rate, by the time this comes out, I'll already be in Carroll Stream, Illinois, right outside of Chicago, at the Glenside 32nd annual last Chicago Cocoa Fest. So if you're not already there and you're able to get there, the whole shindig starts on Saturday. Come on over, join us there. We're going to have some. I'm looking forward not only to seeing everybody that I already know there, but meeting all of you that I don't already know there. Come on down. It's going to be fun. And we'll enjoy some time together at Glenside and the Break Key.